Alright, so as a kind of precursor to doing any actual layups, I'm going to show the proper technique for how to lay down the release after you do your layup. So what I've done instead of doing an actual layup is I just sprayed this with some spray adhesive to kind of simulate the epoxy and help this stick. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to cut it properly and get it to fit into all the corners so you don't get any air pockets or bubbles in your final layup. Okay, so pretend like we've already got our fiberglass or carbon fiber or whatever already laid out on here. So the next piece to apply is this. It's just like Teflon coated fiberglass, basically. Something that the epoxy and breather and everything doesn't stick to. So what we're going to do is we're just going to lay this down to cover the piece. As so. I'm just going to kind of start in this corner here, apply some pressure. Now if this was actual epoxy, you'd be able to see the epoxy soaking through this, which is kind of what it's supposed to do. So just going to work our way up to the leading edge, pushing out any wrinkles and bubbles. Now it won't stick quite this well on real epoxy, but this is at least gives you somewhat of an idea of how things are to be done. And you want to make sure you get it pushed really well into the corners here. What you can do is you can take some sort of edge like this to go along. You don't want to push too hard though, because otherwise it'll cut right through it. Alright, so you can see it's not flexible at all, so it doesn't really want to go in that corner there. That's fine, we're going to fix that here in a second. So we don't have any bubbles along here, or along here. So, if you take a look here, let's kind of zoom in here on this corner, a little better idea. So, you can see here that if we push this in here, we've got like this wrinkle coming up here. You just take your pair of scissors, and you just cut right along that crease. It starts to want to fold right over. So then that formed another crease here. So we're just going to go ahead and cut that one. Okay, just keep going along this corner here. And as you see creases, just go ahead and cut them. And looks like it's going to go quite a bit back here. You can see that it's starting to actually snug into that corner there. So we've got another one going right here. And if you have a whole bunch of overlap, you can cut some of that excess off. You don't need that. So again, we've got another one right here. Now, if when you're cutting this, it makes a little spot, like right here, where you can kind of see through. Oh, wait, it's not. But that's not that big a deal, because that's such a small area that the breather will just rip right off of that. No problem. You can go ahead and cut some of this excess off though. Don't need any of that. So, what you're looking for, your final product, I'll go push this all down here. Cut this a couple more times. You can cut it as many times as you want. It doesn't really matter. Just gonna fold those over. And the better you get this, trust me, the better your layup will be by a lot. If you screw this up, no matter what you did with your breather or your fabric, it's not going to turn out very well. So it goes all folded over. You can see there are no air bubbles anywhere on that. And that's exactly what we're going for. So sometimes you'll have something more complex than this. Sometimes you won't have to do any cuts at all. It kind of just depends